The rain fell hard on the salvage yard, turning the ground into thick brown mud. Park Tai-ho wiped the water from his face and looked at the piles of metal and garbage around him. This was his life now. Every week he came to the auction, hoping to find something valuable in the alien scrap that Earth received from passing trade ships. He was 28 years old, but he felt much older. 3 years ago, he was studying engineering at the university. He had dreams of building starships and exploring the galaxy. Then his father died, leaving behind a mountain of debt. Tai-ho dropped out of school to work. His younger sister Yuna worked double shifts at a noodle shop. Together, they barely survived. The auctioneer, a fat man with a loud voice, pointed at a crushed metal pod sitting in the corner of the yard. It was small, maybe 2 meters long, covered in dirt and rust. Nobody was looking at it. "Next item!" the auctioneer shouted. "Escape pod from a Confederation cargo ship. Crashed here 40 years ago, probably worthless junk. Starting bid is 5,001. Nobody raised their hand. The auctioneer lowered the price. Still nothing. Tai-ho did not know why, but he could not stop looking at the pod. There was something about it. A feeling. A pull. He had learned to trust his feelings over the years. Sometimes they led him to valuable parts hidden inside broken machines. 10,001, Tai-ho said, raising his hand. The auctioneer laughed. "Sold to the young fool in the back." Other buyers laughed too. Tai-ho ignored them. He paid his money and arranged to have the pod delivered to his small workshop on the edge of the city. That night, after Yuna came home from work and fell asleep, Tai-ho went to his workshop. The rain had stopped, and the moon was bright. He looked at the pod under the pale light. Now that it was clean, he could see it was not as damaged as he first thought. The metal was strange. It did not feel like steel or aluminum. It was warm to the touch, like skin. He spent hours cleaning it with old rags. As he worked, he noticed faint patterns on the surface. They looked like letters, but not in any language he knew. Not Korean, not English, not even the common trade languages used by alien species. Then he cut his hand on a sharp edge. "Damn," he whispered, watching blood drip onto the metal surface. The pod began to hum. Tai-ho stepped back, his heart beating fast. The humming grew louder. The patterns on the surface started to glow with soft blue light. Then impossible things began to happen. The pod unfolded. There was no other word for it. The 2-meter shell opened like a flower, and from inside it something grew. Metal flowed like water, expanding outward. Tai-ho ran outside as his workshop walls bent and twisted, but they did not break. The growing ship simply passed through them like a ghost moving through a wall. When it stopped, Tai-ho was standing in front of a starship. It was 40 meters long, sleek and beautiful, glowing with that same soft blue light. It floated a meter above the ground, silent and waiting. "What are you?" Tai-ho whispered. A figure appeared in front of him. It was made of light, shaped like a human but with no face. When it spoke, the voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. "I am Voice. I am the navigation intelligence of the siege ship called Quiet Dawn. You are the inheritor. I have waited for you." Tai-ho's legs felt weak. He sat down in the mud, staring at the hologram. "Waited? What do you mean? How long?" 3,700,000,000 years, Voice said calmly. "Give or take a few centuries." Tai-ho laughed. It was the only response that made sense. "This is a dream. I hit my head and now I am dreaming." "You are not dreaming. Your blood unlocked me. The founders designed it this way. Only an inheritor can wake a seed ship. You are the first in all that time." "The founders? Who are they?" Voice was silent for a moment. "The ones who made the stars. The ones who planted life across the galaxy. They are gone now, but their work remains. This ship is part of that work. And now, so are you." Tai-ho stood up slowly. He walked toward the ship. Its surface was smooth and warm. When he touched it, he felt a connection. It was like the ship was part of him now. He could feel it thinking, waiting, hoping. "What am I supposed to do?" he asked. "Learn, grow, prepare for the return." "What is the return?" But before Voice could answer, alarms began to ring inside the ship. Red lights flashed across its surface. "Warning," Voice said. "During the awakening process, a distress signal was sent. This was an automatic safety feature. It cannot be undone." Tai-ho felt cold. "A distress signal? Who received it?" "The Galactic Confederation. 3 patrol vessels have entered your solar system. They will arrive at Earth in approximately 4 hours. "The Confederation? Why is that bad?" Voice's form flickered. "The Confederation declared all founder technology illegal 10,000 years ago. Any species found possessing a seed ship faces punishment, quarantine, or extinction." Tai-ho's heart sank. He thought about Yuna sleeping in their tiny apartment. He thought about the millions of people living in the city around him. They had no idea what was coming. "Can we run?" he asked. "You have not learned to fly the Quiet Dawn yet. You do not know how to use its systems. If you try to run now, you will fail." "Then what do I do?" Voice was quiet for a long moment. "You learn. Very quickly." Tai-ho looked up at the night sky. Somewhere out there, 3 alien warships were coming to his small planet, coming for him, coming for a ship he did not understand and power he did not want, all because he spent $10 on a piece of junk. He took a deep breath and stepped inside the Quiet Dawn. The interior was larger than the outside suggested. Soft lights guided him to a central room where a seat waited for him. It looked like a throne. "Sit," Voice said. "The lesson begins now." Tai-ho sat down. The chair wrapped around him gently, connecting him to the ship. Suddenly he could feel everything: the ship's heartbeat, the stars outside, the 3 vessels growing closer with each passing second. He was afraid. But somewhere deep inside, beneath the fear, he felt something else: excitement, purpose. The feeling that his life, after years of struggle and poverty, finally meant something. "Okay," he said to the empty room. "Teach me." And the Quiet Dawn began to show him wonders. Tai-ho had been sitting in the pilot seat for 3 hours. His head hurt from all the information the ship was pushing into his mind. He saw images of galaxies being born. He felt the heat of stars forming from dust. He heard whispers in languages that no living creature had spoken for billions of years. But there was no more time to learn. "The Confederation vessels are now entering Earth orbit," Voice announced. "They are scanning the planet." Tai-ho opened his eyes. Through the ship's sensors, he could see the 3 patrol vessels. They were each 500 meters long, covered in weapons. Compared to Earth's small defense fleet, they were monsters. His phone buzzed. A message from Kim Do-hwan, his childhood friend who now served as a lieutenant in Earth's orbital defense force. "Tai-ho, what did you do? Confederation ships are here. They are asking about a founder artifact signal. They mentioned your salvage yard. Get out of there. Now." Tai-ho's hands were shaking. He typed back, "I found something. Something big. I did not mean for this to happen." The reply came fast. "Then run. I will try to delay them, but you have minutes, not hours. Go." Tai-ho stood up from the chair. He needed to get Yuna. He could not leave her behind. He ran home through the dark streets. The sun was starting to rise, but the city was still sleeping. He burst into their small apartment and shook his sister awake. "Yuna, wake up! We need to go!" She blinked at him with confused eyes. "What?" "Tai-ho! It is 5 in the morning. What is wrong?" "I found a ship. An alien ship. And now the Galactic Confederation is coming to take it. They might destroy Earth to get it. We need to run. Yuna stared at him for a long moment. Then she got out of bed and started putting on her clothes. You are not going to argue? Taiho asked, surprised. You never lie to me, she said simply. If you say we need to run, then we run. But you better explain everything once we are safe. They ran back to the workshop together. The quiet dawn was still floating there, invisible to normal eyes. Voice had activated something called a perception filter. People walking by simply did not notice the ship. Welcome, sister of the inheritor, Voice said when Yuna approached. Yuna stopped walking. Her mouth fell open. It talks. I do many things, Voice replied. Please enter. We must leave immediately. Inside the ship, Yuna looked around with wide eyes. This is impossible. This is all impossible. You will find, Voice said, that many impossible things are quite real. Taiho sat back in the pilot's seat. This time, when the chair connected to him, he felt more ready. The ship's systems made more sense now. He could feel how to move, how to fly, how to escape. Taking off, he said. The quiet dawn rose silently through the atmosphere. Below them, the city grew smaller and smaller. Then they were in space, and the stars surrounded them. The Confederation vessels have detected us, Voice warned. They are moving to intercept. Taiho could see them coming. 3 ships, much bigger than the quiet dawn, flying toward them at high speed. Their weapons were charging. Unidentified vessel, a harsh voice came through the communication system. You are carrying illegal founder technology. Surrender immediately or you will be destroyed. Taiho's throat was dry. Voice, what do I do? You fold. I what? The quiet dawn does not travel through normal space. It folds reality. Think of a place. Anywhere in the galaxy. And we will be there. Yuna grabbed his arm. Anywhere? Taiho closed his eyes. He thought about a place he had seen in the ship's memories. A space station at the edge of known space. A place called the Floating Market, where people from all species came to trade and hide. He felt the ship respond to his thought. Reality bent around them. For one moment, they were everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Then, with a soft pop, they were somewhere else entirely. The Confederation ships were gone. Behind them was not Earth, but a massive space station covered in lights and docking bays. Thousands of small ships flew around it like bees around a hive. We are at the Floating Market, Voice confirmed. The Confederation will not find us easily here. Yuna was breathing hard. We traveled across the galaxy in 1 second. The quiet dawn is not limited by distance, Voice explained. The founders built it to go anywhere instantly. Taiho slumped back in his seat. His heart was still racing. They had escaped, for now. We need help, he said. We need to understand what is happening. I know someone here, Voice said. A woman named Choi Mirai. She is an information broker. She knows secrets that others do not. She may be able to help. They docked at the station and walked through crowded corridors filled with aliens of every shape and size. Some were tall and thin with many arms. Others were short and covered in fur. A few looked almost human, but with strange colored skin or extra eyes. Mirai's office was hidden in the lower levels of the station. She was a small woman with sharp eyes and fast hands that danced across computer screens. Park Taiho, she said when she saw him. I heard you made some noise back on Earth. The whole Confederation is talking about the human who stole a founder ship. I did not steal it, Taiho said. It chose me. Mirai smiled. Even better. Sit down. We need to talk about what you have gotten yourself into. She told them about the Remnant, a secret network of species who believed the Confederation was hiding the truth about the founders. She told them that humanity was not a primitive species that stumbled into space by accident. Humans were designed, engineered by the founders themselves to be inheritors. Living keys meant to unlock founder technology. That is why the Confederation keeps Earth isolated, Mirai explained. They are afraid of what humans might become if they learn the truth. Taiho looked at his hands. Regular human hands. Could they really hold the key to ancient power? There is more, Mirai said. The commander of those patrol ships that chased you is named Relis. He is a Veth, an insect species. He has spent 200 years hunting founder artifacts. He is obsessed, and now he is obsessed with you. Why? Because he saw a siege ship once before. It destroyed his entire fleet. He barely survived. He has been waiting for another chance ever since. Yuna leaned forward. So what do we do? Before Mirai could answer, Voice spoke in Taiho's mind. I have discovered something in my memory banks. The Quiet Dawn is one of 12 siege ships. The others are hidden across the galaxy. I have their coordinates. Taiho repeated this to the others. Mirai's eyes went wide. 12 ships? If you could find them all, then maybe we could fight back, Yuna finished. Taiho stood up. Through the station's windows, he could see the endless stars. Somewhere out there, 11 more ships were waiting, and somewhere behind him, Commander Relis was coming. Then we find them, Taiho said. All of them. But at that moment, the station shook. Alarms began to ring. Mirai pulled up a screen, and her face went pale. 500 Confederation warships, she whispered. They found us. They surrounded the station. Taiho looked at Voice's glowing form. Can we fold away again? Not without leaving thousands of innocent people here to face the Confederation's anger. Taiho felt the weight of the choice pressing down on him. Run and save himself, or stay and fight against impossible numbers. He thought about his father, who always said that a real man protects others before himself. Then we stay, Taiho said, and we find another way. The station was in chaos. Thousands of people were running through the corridors, trying to reach their ships, trying to escape. But there was nowhere to go. 500 Confederation warships formed a wall around the floating market. Nothing could get out. Commander Relis's voice came through every speaker on the station. You have 12 hours to surrender the human called Park Taiho and his stolen ship. If you do not, we will destroy this station and everyone on it. Mirai looked at Taiho with sad eyes. Many people here would give you up to save themselves. I know, Taiho said. He turned to Yuna. I should surrender. Maybe if I give myself up, they will leave the station alone. Yuna grabbed his shirt and pulled him close. Her eyes were fierce. No. You think the Confederation will keep their promise? They will destroy this station anyway. They cannot let anyone who knows the truth survive. She is right, Voice said. The Confederation has destroyed entire planets to hide the secret of the founders. They will not spare this station. Taiho felt trapped. Then what do I do? I cannot fight 500 warships. I do not even know how to use this ship properly. Voice was quiet for a moment. There is a way, but it is dangerous. You must complete the bonding with the Quiet Dawn. Right now, you are only connected to a small part of its power. If you fully bond with the ship, you will unlock abilities that the Confederation cannot match. What does that mean? Full bonding? The ship will share all of its memories with you. 3.7 billion years of experience. Everything the founders knew. Everything they built. Everything they dreamed. Yuna stepped back. That sounds like it will break his mind. It might, Voice admitted. Many inheritors failed this test in the past, but Taiho is strong. I believe he can survive. Taiho thought about the thousands of innocent people on the station. He thought about Yuna. He thought about Earth, where millions of humans had no idea their existence was at risk. How do I do it? Voice guided him back to the ship. Mireille gave them a hidden dock where no one would disturb them. Taiho sat in the pilot seat again, but this time it felt different. The chair did not just connect to him, it began to merge with him. "Close your eyes," voice said, "and let go." Taiho closed his eyes. Then the universe exploded inside his head. He saw the birth of the first stars. He felt the heat of creation itself. He watched galaxies spin and grow over millions of years. He saw the founders, beautiful beings of pure light and thought, as they traveled the young universe and planted the seeds of life on countless worlds. He saw them create the seed ships, 12 vessels, each one carrying the hope of future generations, each one waiting for an inheritor who would not come for billions of years. He felt the founders die, not in battle, but in transcendence. They evolved beyond physical form, becoming something greater, something that existed outside normal space and time. They left their technology behind, gifts for the children they would never meet. He saw the Confederation rise, young species, afraid of the founders' power, afraid of what others might do with it. They destroyed founder artifacts wherever they found them. They kept the truth hidden, controlling the galaxy through fear. All of this poured into Taiho's mind in a single moment. It was too much. He screamed. His body shook. Blood ran from his nose. Yuna pounded on the ship's door. "Taiho, let me in! Stop this!" But Taiho did not stop. He pushed through the pain, through the fear, through the endless memories that threatened to drown him. He found himself in those memories. He found his purpose. He was an inheritor. He was made for this. When he opened his eyes, the world looked different. He could see the connections between things, the flow of energy, the patterns of reality itself. The quiet dawn was no longer a separate thing. It was part of him, and he was part of it. "Bonding complete," voice said. There was something like pride in its voice. "You did well, Taiho." Yuna was crying when he opened the door. "I thought you were dying." "I was becoming," he said. He hugged her tight. "I understand now. I know what the ship can do. I know what I can do." The 12 hours were almost up. Commander Relis sent another message. "Time is running out. Surrender now." Taiho walked calmly to the pilot seat. Through the ship's sensors, he could see the Confederation fleet. 500 ships, weapons charged, ready to kill everyone. "What are you going to do?" Mireille asked through the communication system. "Watch," Taiho said. The quiet dawn flew out of the station and faced the Confederation fleet alone. It looked so small compared to the massive warships. Commander Relis laughed through the open channel. "One tiny ship against 500? Human, you are either brave or stupid." "I am neither," Taiho replied. "I am an inheritor, and you are making a mistake." The Confederation fired. Hundreds of missiles flew toward the quiet dawn. Energy beams cut through space, enough firepower to destroy a moon. Taiho raised his hand. The missiles stopped. They did not explode. They simply stopped moving, frozen in space, as if time itself had paused around them. "What is happening?" Relis screamed. "What is he doing?" Taiho did not fire weapons back. The quiet dawn did not have weapons in the normal sense. Instead, it changed reality. It rewrote the rules. One by one, the Confederation ships began to malfunction. Their engines forgot how to work. Their weapons believed they had already been used. Their navigation systems thought they were in a completely different part of the galaxy. Captains reported impossible things. "My ship thinks it is a passenger liner. It refuses to fire." Another said, "Our missiles are acting friendly. They want to dock with the station, not destroy it." Commander Relis watched his fleet fall apart without a single shot being fired against it. Ships drifted aimlessly. Crews panicked and fled in escape pods. In less than 10 minutes, 500 warships were reduced to floating metal with no purpose, and Taiho had not killed a single being. He broadcast a message to the entire galaxy. His face appeared on screens across thousands of worlds. My name is Park Tae-ho. I am human. I am an inheritor. Everything the Confederation told you about the founders, about humanity, about history itself, is a lie. He told them the truth. About the founders, about the seed ships, about humanity's real purpose in the galaxy. We were made to inherit the stars, not to conquer, not to destroy, but to grow, to learn, to become something greater. The Confederation has kept us small because they are afraid of what we might become. But I am not afraid anymore, and you do not have to be afraid either. When the message ended, the galaxy was silent. Then, slowly, voices began to rise. On 100 worlds, people started asking questions, started demanding answers. Commander Relis sat alone on his broken bridge, staring at the small ship that had destroyed his fleet without firing a single weapon. "This is not over," he whispered. "I will find a way to kill you. I will find a way to stop all of you." But for now, Tae-ho had won, and somewhere in the ruins of the Confederation fleet, hope was being born. The inheritor had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same. 6 months had passed since Tae-ho's message spread across the galaxy. The universe was divided now. Half the species believed him. The other half called him a liar, a terrorist, a threat to peace. The Confederation worked hard to control the story, but the truth was spreading like fire through dry grass. Tae-ho was not resting. He had a mission now. Find the other seed ships. Find other inheritors. The quiet dawn traveled to dozens of worlds, following the coordinates hidden in its ancient memory. Some ships had been destroyed over the billions of years. Others were buried so deep that even Tae-ho could not reach them. But slowly, he found them. On a frozen moon, he found the silent thunder, covered in ice. In the heart of a dying star, protected by impossible technology, he found the endless song. Deep underwater on a planet of endless oceans, he found the patient storm. Each ship needed an inheritor to wake it. And to Tae-ho's surprise, he found them too. Humans, scattered across the galaxy in small colonies that the Confederation had forgotten about. Descendants of ancient experiments carrying the same genetic keys that allowed Tae-ho to bond with the quiet dawn. On a simple farming colony called New Gyeonggi, he met Bai Jinho. Jinho was 25 years old, a rice farmer with strong hands and a gentle heart. He lived alone, working the land his grandfather had cleared when the colony was first established. He had never traveled more than 50 kilometers from his home. But he had been having dreams. Strange dreams of flying through stars, of being connected to something vast and old. Dreams that woke him up shaking and afraid. When Tae-ho landed his ship near Jinho's farm, the young man was not surprised. "I knew you were coming," Jinho said quietly. "I saw you in my dreams, you and the ship. The voice told me to wait." Tae-ho smiled. "The ships speak to their inheritors, even before the bonding. I do not understand any of this." "You will." They walked to a place Jinho had avoided his entire life. A hill behind his farm where nothing grew. Where the ground was always warm. Underneath that hill, buried for billions of years, waited the silent thunder. When Jinho placed his hand on the hidden metal surface, the hill exploded upward. But not with violence, with life. The ship emerged like a flower blooming, and as it rose, it did something incredible. The dead moon next to the planet, visible in the daytime sky, began to change. Green spread across its gray surface. Oceans appeared. In minutes, a dead rock became a living world. Jinho fell to his knees, crying. "What did I do?" "You woke up," Tae-ho said, helping him stand. "And you showed the universe what an inheritor can do." One by one, Tae-ho gathered them. 7 inheritors, 7 seed ships. Each one different, each one powerful, each one a piece of the founder's dream. His crew grew too. Yuna had bonded with a ship called the Gentle Dawn, sister to Taiho's vessel. She was no longer fully human. Part of her existed in the ship now, spread across dimensions, seeing things that normal eyes could never see. Zhang Yunsu joined them, a former Confederation pilot who had learned the truth and chosen to fight for humanity. He was old and gruff, but he became like a father to the young inheritors, teaching them discipline and patience. And then there was Kang Su-min, a Confederation scientist who appeared one day at their hidden base. Their base was incredible. A Dyson sphere, an artificial shell built around a dying star. The founders had constructed it as a gateway, a door to wherever they had gone when they evolved beyond physical form. It was the largest structure in the galaxy, invisible to normal sensors, waiting for the day when all 12 seed ships would return. Somin came with a warning. "The Confederation has a new weapon," she said. Her face was pale and tired. She had risked everything to bring them this information. "They call it the Null Spear. It is built from founder technology they captured long ago." "What does it do?" Taiho asked. Sumin's voice shook. "It does not just kill inheritors. It erases them. From all of time. If the Null Spear hits you, you will not have ever existed. No memories. No history. Nothing." The room was silent. Yuna reached for Taiho's hand and held it tight. "That is impossible," Jinho whispered. "The founders could manipulate time," Sumin said. "The Confederation learned just enough to make a weapon. They have been testing it on captured inheritors from other species. Species that no one remembers now because they were erased." Hyunsu slammed his fist on the table. "Then we destroy this weapon before they can use it." "It is too late," Sumin said. "Commander Raylis already has it, and he knows where your base is. I could only come ahead of the fleet by a few hours." As if her words summoned the danger, alarms began to ring throughout the Dyson sphere. Voice spoke to all of them at once. 10,000 Confederation warships detected. They are surrounding the structure. Among them is a vessel of unknown design. It matches the descriptions of the Null Spear. Taiho stood up. He looked at his friends, his family, his fellow inheritors. 7 ships against 10,000, 7 humans against the weapon that could erase them from existence. "We have 7 ships," he said. "We need 12 to activate the gateway. We cannot run." "Then we fight," Yuna said. "Some of us might not survive," Hyunsu warned. Jinho, the simple farmer who had never wanted power, stepped forward. "Then we die protecting each other. That is what family does." Through the walls of the Dyson sphere, they could see the Confederation fleet arriving. 10,000 points of light, weapons charged, ready for the final battle. And at their center, the Null Spear, a twisted ship that seemed to bend light around it, a hole in the shape of the universe. Commander Raylis sent one final message. "Inheritors, you have caused enough trouble. Today it ends. Today you are erased. Not just killed, erased. The galaxy will forget you ever existed. This is your punishment for challenging the natural order." Taiho sent a message back. "There is no natural order. There is only the order you created to keep others small. The founders gave us the stars. You tried to take them away, but we are taking them back." The 7 seed ships launched from the Dyson sphere, flying toward the impossible fleet. They were beautiful and terrible, glowing with power that the Confederation could not understand. But hidden among the stars, something else was happening. The 4 lost seed ships, scattered across the galaxy, began to move. They had heard the call. They felt their brothers and sisters preparing to fight, and they were coming home. The final battle was about to begin. 7 seed ships flew against 10,000 Confederation warships. It should have been over in seconds. But the inheritors had learned much in the past months. They worked together now, their ships connected, their minds sharing power. Taiho flew at the front, the quiet dawn leading the formation. Around him, he could feel his sister Yuna in the gentle dawn, solid and steady. He could feel Jinho in the silent thunder, nervous but brave. He could feel the others, each one a different note in a song that was finally being played. The Confederation fired first. Thousands of missiles and energy beams filled space with death. The inheritors answered with miracles. Yuna raised her hand, and a barrier of folded space appeared, swallowing the missiles into a dimension where they could harm nothing. Jinho thought of growth, and the energy beams became seeds of light that scattered harmlessly. Together they pushed forward. But the Null Spear was waiting. Commander Relis sat in the heart of the twisted ship, watching with cold eyes. "Fire!" he ordered. A beam of absolute darkness shot from the Null Spear. It was not light or energy. It was emptiness. Wherever it touched, things stopped existing. Not destroyed. Removed. As if they had never been. The beam hit 2 of the siege ships before the inheritors could react. The ships simply vanished. And so did their pilots. Taiho felt them disappear from his mind, from history, from everything. He could not remember their names. He could not remember their faces. They were gone so completely that he could only feel the hole where they had been. 3 more inheritors fell in the next minute. Erased. Forgotten. Only Taiho, Yuna, Jinho, and 1 other survived. Their ships had created temporal shields just in time, bubbles of protected time where the Null Spear could not reach. "We are losing," Jinho said, his voice breaking. "Not yet," Taiho replied. Hyunsu, who had been coordinating from the Dyson sphere, made a decision. He climbed into a small shuttle, fast and maneuverable. "I am going to buy you time," he said through the communication channel. "No!" Taiho shouted. "You will die. I am old. I have done terrible things for the Confederation. Let me do one good thing at the end." Before anyone could stop him, Hyunsu flew his shuttle directly at the Null Spear. The Confederation ships tried to shoot him down, but he was too fast, too skilled. He had been the best pilot in the Confederation before he defected, and he proved it now. His shuttle hit the Null Spear's main weapon array and exploded. The twisted ship shuddered. Sparks flew from its surface. The weapon went silent, damaged, but not destroyed. Hyunsu was gone. But he had given them precious minutes. "The other ships are coming," voice said in Taiho's mind. "The 4 lost siege ships. They are almost here." Taiho looked at the stars. He could feel them now, racing across the galaxy, drawn by the battle, by the need of their fellow ships. 4 points of light, growing brighter with each second. "We just need to survive a little longer," Taiho said. Mirai, watching from the station with her hacking equipment, broke into the Confederation's communication network. She broadcast the battle live to every world in the galaxy. Billions of beings watched as 4 humans in ancient ships fought against the greatest fleet ever assembled. The 4 lost siege ships arrived like shooting stars. They had no inheritors, no pilots, but they flew anyway, guided by the collective will of their bonded brothers and sisters. They joined the formation, and suddenly there were 8 ships against 10,000. Then 9. Then 10. The last 2 siege ships emerged from hiding places even the Quiet Dawn had not known about. One rose from the surface of a black hole where time moved differently. The other phased out of a dimension that had no name. 12 siege ships, all together for the first time in billions of years. The Dyson sphere began to change. The dying star at its center pulsed with new energy. Ancient machines woke from sleep. A gateway began to open, a door to somewhere beyond normal space. Commander Relis watched in horror. "No, stop them! Fire everything!" The Confederation fleet unleashed all its weapons at once, but now the 12 ships were united, and their power was beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. Reality itself became a shield. Missiles became flowers. Energy beams became music. The Confederation's weapons turned against themselves, not destroying but transforming, changing, evolving. Relis ordered the null spear to fire again, even though it was damaged. The weapon screamed as it activated, sending another beam of emptiness at the inheritors. Tai-Ho met it head-on. He flew the Quiet Dawn directly into the beam. The emptiness touched him, tried to erase him, but Tai-Ho was connected to something older and stronger than any weapon. He was connected to the dream of the founders themselves. He pushed back. The null spear shattered. Relis was thrown from his seat as his ship broke apart around him. The commander floated in space, his exoskeleton cracked, staring at the human who had destroyed everything he believed in. Tai-Ho could have let him die. But instead, the Quiet Dawn reached out and caught him, bringing him safely inside. "Why?" Relis asked, his voice broken. "Why save me?" "Because the founders did not make us to destroy," Tai-Ho said. "They made us to grow. Even you can grow, Commander. Even you can change." The gateway opened fully. Through it, Tai-Ho could see something impossible. Not another place, but another way of being. The founders were there, or what remained of them. Pure consciousness, woven into the fabric of the universe, watching their children finally come home. They spoke directly to Tai-Ho's mind. "You have done well, Inheritor. The choice is now yours. Ascend and join us beyond physical form, or remain and become the new founders. The species that will guide the next generation of life." Tai-Ho looked at Yuna, at Jin-Ho, at the billions of beings across the galaxy watching this moment. "I choose to stay," he said. "Someone needs to protect the galaxy while it grows up." The founders understood. Their presence faded, but their gift remained. The 12 seed ships pulsed with new power, new purpose. The inheritors were no longer just humans with ancient technology. They were guardians, teachers, the beginning of something new. The Confederation fleet, what remained of it, retreated. The war was over. In the weeks that followed, the galaxy changed. Old governments fell. New ones rose, guided by the truth that Tai-Ho had shared. Humans were no longer seen as primitive newcomers. They were recognized as inheritors, as the species meant to lead the galaxy into its next age. Not through force, through example. Tai-Ho traveled the stars, awakening potential in other species, teaching them to grow beyond their limitations. Yuna stayed at the Dyson Sphere, learning its secrets, becoming the keeper of the gateway. Jin-Ho returned to his farm, but now he used his power to heal dead worlds, to create life where there had been none. And Commander Relis, to everyone's surprise, did change. A seed ship had chosen him during the battle, responding to a moment of doubt in his heart. He became the 13th inheritor, spending his remaining years trying to undo the harm he had caused. One evening, Tai-Ho returned to Earth. He walked through the salvage yard where everything had started. His old workshop was still there, though it had been turned into a museum now. People came from across the galaxy to see where the first inheritor awakened. Yuna met him there, appearing from folded space with a smile on her face. "Do you ever think about what would have happened if you had not bought that pod?" she asked. Tai-Ho laughed. "I try not to. It makes my head hurt." $10, she said, shaking her head. "You changed the entire galaxy for $10. Best investment I ever made." They stood together, looking up at the stars. The Quiet Dawn floated somewhere above, patient as always, waiting for the next lesson to begin. The galaxy was vast and old, full of wonders and dangers. But humanity was ready now. They had inherited the stars just as the founders intended, and their story was only beginning.